gorgeous. Welcome to High Vibe Honey. I'm so excited that you're here. This week we are going to be talking about a really important topic, and that topic is being worthy. Being truly worthy of everything that you want, everything that you desire, everything that you crave, everything that you visualize, really stepping into that place of worth and obliterating those old beliefs that have been holding you back for so long, making you feel like, I'm not ready for this, I'm not worthy of this, I'm not enough for this. The time for that is over. So it's time to destroy it, and that's what we're gonna do in this session. So I'm really glad that you're here, because that's a cornerstone of us moving into the lives that we want, right? Feeling actually worthy of it. So it's very exciting, and I'm very glad that you're here. Now, before we get into High Vibe Honey for this week, I have to tell you that my third book just became available. I'm so excited. I wish I had one of those like wah, wah, wah sound effects, you know, but I'll just do it with my mouth. And I'm so excited. It's flying off the shelves, well, metaphorical shelves, because they're not really on a shelf, but you know what I mean. Metaphorical shelf, figurative shelf. And this book is called Hologram Heart, A Radiant Guide to the Romantic Revolution. And this book is all about love, dating, relationships, and stepping into the love that you've always wished existed, but kind of felt like maybe you didn't have permission to want it to be that way. It's for the woman who has been dating a long time and loves herself and has an amazing fucking life and is like, I am only gonna be with you if being with you is sweeter than my solitude. The woman who is like, I don't even know if marriage is really the be all and end all. The woman who just wants to do things differently, but looks around and sees everyone else following a conventional path and feels like, I don't know where I fit into this. I don't know if I'm allowed to have this. I don't know. And it's really the result of, firstly, me taking a dating sabbatical last year and learning so much in that time from the reading I was doing and the courses I was taking and the therapy I was going to, and teaching you all of these things that I just haven't seen anyone bring together in the same place ever before. So it's a mixture of psychology and manifesting and magic. You know, it's not just about understanding your blueprint of what you're attracted to and where that comes from. It's about changing that. I've created this insane tapping protocol that will help you stop being attracted to things that are harmful for you, things that have brought you pain in the past, and help you to move into being attracted to things that are good for you, that like embolden you, that open your heart, things that are expansive. When I did this dating sabbatical and I rewired what I was attracted to, I literally found the things I used to be into unattractive. Like if someone was inconsistent or avoidant or distant, I was like, oh, this is such a turnoff, and it would be over for me. Rather than in the past, taking things personally, trying harder, working harder, trying to win their affection, I'm like, I'm not even interested in that anymore. And so I'm super proud of this book. It's selling like crazy, and we have all these people in the community. It's basically like a book, an audiobook, guided tapping activities, and a community/book club where you're going through it at the same time as everyone else. It's so fucking amazing. Like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm super proud of this book. And up until May 1st, which is Friday of next week, we have a really special love package that it comes with. So you don't just get the book, you get my second book, Radical Radiance, which is all about manifesting and feeling good. I honestly think it's the best book on manifesting ever. Am I allowed to say that? I'm gonna say it. I think it is. My Love Rehab course, which is about getting over your ex once and for all, super powerful. And my Metaphysical Matchmaker class, which is about online dating and rocking your profile and all of that. Also, when you sign up for Hologram Heart, you get instant access to my ideal lover tapping sequence. And when I was filming this, I had goosebumps over my entire body, and the comments I'm getting from women are amazing. This is already changing their frequency, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's all about having this mindset where you understand that things are different. So I'm super excited about this book. I would love for you guys to join us if you have not yet joined us. I know that a lot of you confirmed High Vibe Honeys are in there with a vengeance, and you're already in there and you're killing it. But if you have not yet joined us, I really encourage you to. It's not just for single people, it's for people in marriages, relationships, it's for queer people, it's for everyone who wants to expand their heart and have a better frequency and attract better things and understand why it hasn't worked in the past, and then leave it in the past. Because that's what tapping does. As you already know, if you're here, you already know the power of tapping. Okay, so that's Hologram Heart. Like I said, I would love to have you with us. If you have questions about it, please feel free to send me a DM or leave me a comment on Instagram. It's kind of the place I'm most active, so it's easiest for me to connect with you there. But please let me know if you have questions or if you're like, I don't know if this is right for me, whatever. And we also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you get the first chapter and you're like, this is not my shit, it's totally fine. Just email us and we'll give you your money back and you get to keep all the courses because we're generous like that, you know? So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about what we're here for this week. High vibe, honey. Worthiness, baby, worthiness. So we see a lot of people who are, quite frankly, just not living the kind of life they've always wanted to live. They're not. It seems to have escaped them. They're just not living that fucking life that they fantasize about. And that's true for 99% of the people, right? Most people are not living the most joyful, thrilling, exciting life that they have always fantasized about. And a lot of us walk around with this kind of hole in our chests where we just feel unworthy, we feel undeserving, we feel like we're not ready for that thing that we really, really want. And we feel small. And this is almost certainly as a result of something that's happened to you in the past. You are allowing this event from the past to control how you feel today, which is extremely disempowering, as you are aware. But sometimes we're not even aware that we're doing that. We don't even really connect the dots where we're like, oh, this person treated me badly and now I'm allowing that to carry over into my everyday life and I'm allowing that to color all of the decisions that I make. So basically what happens is when something happens in our lives, we tell ourselves a story about what it means. Because nothing is inherently good or bad, but thinking makes it so. I think Shakespeare said that. He's a very smart man. And it's true. Nothing is bad or good or fantastic or holy or evil, except for the stories that we tell ourselves about it. We bring the meaning to everything that happens to us. So a divorce can be the most terrible thing that's ever happened to you, or it can be the start of a beautiful new chapter, which is what my divorce was for me. No shade to my ex-husband, he's a good dude, but it wasn't right for me at the time, and it wasn't right for him either. So we get to decide what the meaning is of anything that's happened to us. So to look at another example, and these are romantic examples because I'm really in the zone about that as I'm working on this book and promoting this book. All I can think about is love and relationships and dating. It's really fun. I'm having the best time ever. But so here's another example. You're going through your life, you're in a relationship with someone and that person dumps you, or maybe they cheat on you, or they leave you, or whatever. You have two choices about how you're gonna frame that up. You could frame it up as, okay, cool, this wasn't a fit for me, it's a blessing, and now the universe is clearing a space for something that is such a better fit, something that really feels good, something that's in perfect resonance with where I am, something that is gonna expand me into a new way of living. That's one option. And the second option is, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I could have worked harder, why did this happen to me? I'm never gonna find the person I'm looking for, maybe they don't even exist. This is terrible. This is a reflection on my value as a person. So if right now you're in a place of feeling undeserving or unworthy or not good enough, that is because you have been telling yourself disempowering stories. I want you to think back on what you consider to be some of the biggest moments in your life and ask yourself, what have I been telling myself about this thing? Have I been framing everything up as a failure? Have I been framing everything up as a personal attack? Have I been framing everything up as rejection? Or have I been framing things up as blessings, as protection? I always think rejection is protection. Man, oh man. And you have to ask yourself, how have I been framing up these stories? And if you've been framing them up in a way that makes you feel shitty about yourself, a way that makes you feel less than, it is never too late to frame it differently. And that's the magic of tapping. That's why I love it so much. We are creating new stories, wiring up new neural pathways in our mind so that we can completely change our past. And when you change your past, by which I mean your ideas about the past, what you believe about the past, what the past meant, you become a completely different person in the present. Here's an example of that from my own life. When I had an eating disorder, I was in a really terrible place. I couldn't leave the house with my legs showing. I would cry when I looked in the mirror. I wasn't eating. I was a fucking wreck. And also it was so boring. Like, it's so boring to just be so obsessed with yourself and how you look. Like, wow, there's nothing more boring. So that was really painful, and it was also my identity. But when I moved through that with tapping, which felt like a miracle in my life, it completely disconnected me from that old story. And people sometimes will ask me, maybe in an interview or something like that, what was it like when you had an eating disorder? And I really don't really remember. It's like watching a movie of myself that I have no emotional resonance with. Like, I can see it in my mind, I can see my old apartment, I can see the way I used to dress. A lot of it I remember just in photos I had taken at the time. But there's no emotional string. There's no connection to it. It doesn't feel like anything to me. And that's what we do with tapping. We remove the emotional resonance from an old story. And when we do that, we are really and truly free. And that's why tapping is also known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. It truly frees you from that old story. Now let's go back to that story about getting dumped and how we can take that personally. And I want to tell you that I'm totally guilty of doing this in the past. There have been so many instances in my past where a relationship didn't work and I've taken it personally. I have been like, oh my God, like, what did I do wrong? Like, how could I have done this better? Maybe if I had just worked harder, maybe if I'd been more like this or more like that, then this would have changed things. And if you are doing that too, or you have had a history of doing that, it's extremely likely that you came from a dysfunctional household where you felt that you had to perform or work really hard to earn and or be worthy of love, affection, and to establish your value in the house. That's super common. If you're from a household like that, you might believe that you have to overfunction in order to get love, which is often where we get that kind of like project and helper relationship dynamic, right? Where one person is always in need of fixing and one person is always in the role of doing the fixing. And it doesn't work for either party. It's a really toxic cycle. But what happened when I took my dating sabbatical and I did all this reading, I realized that those relationships that ended were a fucking blessing. And when I look back on them now, I think, thank fucking God that ended. Because it wasn't healthy, it was toxic, it was, me being in something that reflected my beliefs about myself, my belief that like I wasn't enough, and I had to compete for attention and all of these things that I believed. So now when I look at that, I realize that that was just an old story and that it wasn't being framed up appropriately because I had this old pain from old situations, old history, old trauma. And I started to realize during this dating sabbatical that I was absolutely worthy of love right now. That I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to work really hard. I didn't have to prove or demonstrate my value either by fixing or by showing up and being a fucking bombshell or whatever I thought I needed to do in order to be really worthy of love, really able to receive love right now. Because who you are right now is great. And you don't have to change anything about yourself to be loved and to know that you are lovable. I want you to think about the friendships you have. Did you have to chase those people to get their attention? Did you have to work really hard for it? Did you have to convince your friends to love you? No, they just did. And they showed up gladly, and it was an equal exchange. And when you know that you are truly worthy, that's what it's like. And it's just as appropriate in love as it is with abundance or your health or anything. It's about flicking that switch in your mind and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are absolutely worthy right fucking now. Who you are right now is enough. It's perfect. And you don't have to lose weight or save more money or rescue more animals to be worthy of whatever it is you want right now. Now you can do those things, of course, it's a free country, but you don't have to do them in order to prove that you are lovable, that you are worthy, that you are deserving of your spot on this planet. You are absolutely enough right here, right now, exactly as you are. And so that's what we're going to be tapping on today. Tapping on our deep fucking worthiness. Because this is something that I just see so often. And even if you've tapped on this with me before, you can never tap on it too much. So I'm really excited for us to do this today. So let's get ready to tap. If you have not had any water to drink, please drink some water. If you have not washed your hands, wash your hands before you tap on your face. And we're gonna get started. This is a tapping section on being worthy of everything that you desire. If you have never tapped before, just follow what I do, press on these points and repeat after me. It's very easy, and I'm excited that you're here doing this with us. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start on the top of the head. Just repeat after me. I am worthy right now. I am worthy of everything I want, everything I desire, everything I fantasize about. I am totally worthy right now. But just saying that makes me feel like maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I still have something I need to do. Some trick I need to perform in order to be truly worthy. I've seen a lot of evidence that I am not worthy. Like all those times that things didn't work. All those times that I was passed over. All those times that things fell apart. I have taken those events and in my mind I have framed them up that I'm not worthy. That I didn't earn it. That if I had just worked a little harder, if I had just overfunctioned a little bit more, then maybe it would have worked out. That maybe if I had performed harder, it would all have been fine. But this is not an accurate story. And this is not the way I want to frame these stories. I want to start to frame these stories differently. I want to think about something that happened, something that fell apart. And instead of taking it personally, or seeing it as evidence that I am not enough, I choose to see it as a blessing in disguise. I choose to see it as the universe clearing a space for something so much better to come through. Now, that doesn't mean that the thing didn't hurt. I'm totally entitled to be hurt and sad. But I don't have to punish myself further by telling myself a story that it's my fault, that I wasn't worthy, that I'm not valuable, that I'm not good, and that I'm not lovable. Because I know deep down that my worthiness is inherent. It's built into me. Just like my fingers and toes. It's as essential a part of my spirit as the color of my eyes. I am worthy just because I'm here. I am valuable just because I exist. And I'm willing to start to believe that maybe I'm perfect just as I am. Maybe there's nothing I need to do differently. Maybe there's nothing I need to change in order to step into my deep worthiness, in order to see my value, in order to attract all the things I've always wanted. Maybe I could start to believe that right now. Because no one's judging me. I get to believe whatever I want to believe about myself. So why not believe something awesome? Why not believe something beautiful? Why not believe something that puts me on a path to greatness? To true love, to radical abundance. Why not believe that? It's just as easy as believing anything else. So even though I've grappled with my worthiness in the past, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And maybe I could even start to slightly forgive the people who have made me feel unworthy in the past. The people who have projected their shit onto me. The people who I have believed hurt me. Maybe I could start to let go of some of that resentment. Because I know it's very rare that people hurt us on purpose. And even if they did, I also know that hurt people hurt people. So maybe instead of just being furious at them, I could start to have the tiniest bit of compassion. Just a tiny bit. A tiny, tiny droplet. And maybe having compassion for them would make me feel better. Would make me feel free. And would lighten me of a burden. So even though I haven't always felt worthy, today I choose to frame everything differently. Today I choose to be massively worthy. Worthy of beautiful things, beautiful experiences, incredible people, all the romance and abundance and creativity I can stand. Because I'm fucking worth it. And I always have been. It's just that now I realize it. Okay, take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, let that shit go, my friend. How does that feel? I feel really good. Really good. And it's so interesting. If you do this tapping sequence a few times, you'll notice that different people, different scenarios will come up in your mind, and you can really work through this. So in Hologram Heart, we have this amazing forgiveness protocol that I'm going to teach you that is just going to so massively clean up your vibration. Because what I've learned as I was researching this book and working on it and writing it and really looking into, the metaphysics of what attraction and love is all about, your heart and your mind have to be in alignment. And if you want something in your mind, but your heart is holding on to resentment or bitterness or disappointment or fear, you literally cannot get your mind and your heart into alignment. And so we have to start learning to forgive ourselves as well as the people from our past. Now, that doesn't mean that what they did was okay or acceptable or that we condone it in any way. But we start to forgive the scenario, to take all of the charge out of it, so that we can move into new things feeling fully free, not feeling fearful, not feeling afraid, and not feeling like we need that protection that fear has been giving us. That's what fear really is about. It's about trying to protect ourselves, save ourselves from potential pain. But if we go into things with our heart closed, we can't experience real connection. There's no vulnerability. There's no truth. There's no real magnetic hold. It doesn't work. And so if you can't have your mind and your heart in alignment, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. Or it might work for a little bit and then it will just explode. The wheels will come off because you're not fully in alignment. You don't believe you're worthy. You're still full of fear. You're still full of anger. And you're even projecting that onto this new person who literally has nothing to do with those old situations. So it's really big, important work. And it's really funny, the trajectory of Radical Self-Love as my first book, to Radical Radiance, which is all about manifesting, to Hologram Heart, which is about love and relationships. I really believe that once you love who you are, and then you learn that feeling good is the most important thing you can do. Once you got that shit locked and you're like, man, I feel good. This is easy. I love this. I feel good every day. The better I feel, the better I feel. The next level of the video game is bringing someone else into that and playing that game with them, because it completely changes the odds. It changes the stakes when there's someone else with their own stuff in your life. Might be a little harder to feel good all the time, but also we're designed for connection. We're designed for love. The reason we crave it, the reason we want it, is it's built into us. It's built into our DNA. We're not supposed to be alone all the time. We're not supposed to be a hermit on a mountaintop. That's why so few people go off and do that. We are really designed and wired for connection and love and intimacy and all of those things. And if we cut ourselves off from them because we're fearful, we've had painful experiences in the past, we are missing so much of the juiciness of life. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a great life without love. Obviously you can, and you should love being single. It's a fucking amazing time. It's so much fun. But being with someone is another juicy layer. It's like an amazing array of pink sprinkles on your birthday cake. It makes everything so much sweeter, and that's how it should be. So I hope that you enjoyed this tapping session. If you're feeling hyped on this, I would love, love, love for you to join us in Hologram Heart before May 1st. So it's only a few days before that amazing bundle expires. And if you already have those other courses or my second book, you can gift them to a friend, which would be amazing. And as we all know, generosity is what makes abundance come to us more. So if you do buy those and gift them, you should be prepared for something fucking amazing to happen to you very shortly thereafter. It's literally the way it works. The more generous you are, the more abundance you receive every single time. Because when you are generous, you are affirming to the universe that there is more than enough for everyone, that that's what you believe. And the universe is like, oh, you believe that shit? There you go, motherfucker. And it's amazing. So your homework for this week, if you choose to accept it, I always say that like it's like a James Bond thing. I don't know if anyone gets that, but that's what I'm referencing. Your homework, if you choose to accept it, is to tell us what you are fucking worthy of right now. And then go through and like as many other comments as you can. Again, it's all about generosity. Love on those babes. They are your crew. They are. High Vibe Honey Click is, it's real. And we're in this together. So I hope this was helpful. Buy Hologram Heart. You will be psyched. It's the best thing I've ever written, bar none. So much better than Radical Self-Love. I can't even tell you. And I will see you next week for another High Vibe Honey.